Delhi from tomorrow onwards for the third edition of the India Energy Week. Now, this is the third edition of the India Energy Week, but I want to share with you that in the short time that it has been around, it has already become the world's second largest energy platform. And I say this with a sense of responsibility. How do you measure the scale and importance of an energy platform? When we talk about ADIPEC, which is the largest energy platform, you talk about it in terms of the nature of participation, you talk about it in terms of the exhibition space, you talk about it in terms of the number of professional sessions, the technical papers produced. And I think Secretary will agree with me and he'll correct me if he thinks I need correction. But today, India Energy Week is something more than that. And not because I want to pay you a compliment because you're here, but the very fact that in a pre-event session, the event is to start tomorrow, you've got so many of you present here, means that there is interest. But this interest is not just in energy as we understand it. By energy as we understand it could be, traditional fossil fuels, crude oil, refining, petrol, diesel. This is much more. This is about technology. And I think my understanding is that we've been able to do in 3 years what in fact the largest platform, ADIPEC, has done over a much more extended period of time. So within 3 years, from the time we started in Bengaluru, Goa, third one in Delhi, and the next one, 2026, will be in its permanent home, where the ONGC is developing a 240-acre site, which will be a conference tourism site, and which will also be the home of the fourth edition of IEW, which will be in February 2026. I'll just share a few statistics with you, and then I'll request Secretary to chip in, and then we'll have a short session of exchanges, any interaction. Of course, we'll be meeting every day from tomorrow to the 14th. That's a permanent feature of how we organize these. Both Secretary and I will be available. One is that, as I said, IEW 25 is poised to be bigger, diverse, and more impactful than its previous 2 editions. It will span 1 lakh square meters, and will be the second largest energy event globally in terms of participation, which means ministers, CEOs, exhibition space sessions. Now, I'll just share some figures with you. Compared to IEW 23 and 24, this one will have 65% higher exhibition space, which will here be 28,000 square meters. That's 65% more than last year. 105 conference sessions, which is 24% higher than 23 and 15% higher than last year. More than 70,000 delegates, which is 55% higher than 2024 and 89% higher than 2023. 500 speakers from India and abroad, which is 38% higher than 2024 and 58% higher than 2023. It will have 700 plus exhibitors, which is 57% higher than 2024 and 115% higher than 2023. Now, why am I giving you these comparisons in terms of what happened in 23 and 24? Because unless there is interest, by the way, this is not an event on which the government is spending money. Let's be very clear, it's not. When you see it promoted, the organization of this event is so structured that economic entities in India and outside will ask for exhibition space. They will ask for facilities. Now, Yashobhumi ka kitna hai total size? We've had to go beyond that in German tents.
Yes, sir. This is in fact, Yashomi has fallen short in terms of the
In
infrastructure.
terms of the infrastructure. So we've had to. We chose the biggest, but Yashol is from itself, so we put exhibition space outside. Now I just give you some other statistics. The growth in participation of international speakers in strategic conference IEW 48% as against 33%. I mean, I'm talking about the participation of international speakers. The event will see participation of 20 ministerial level participants, foreign ministers, deputy ministers. We have them from Qatar, UK, Russia, Brazil, Tanzania, Venezuela, heads of international organizations, head of OPEC, IEF, IEA, so on. 90 CEOs from Fortune 500 energy companies. Will feature the India Energy Startup Challenge 2.0. The winners will be announced there. Ujana Voka Private Limited, so I won't go into that now. Vasudha, which is a global challenge for upstream startups in oil and gas, 17 overseas entries received. Top 2 startups will get it. Pavilions and zones. We've got 10 country pavilions. The biggest is, I think, the United States with 246. Sorry, USA. Okay, sorry. Germany is even bigger, 324 square meters. USA is 246. Norway is 236. A lot of them at 150, 156, and 2 countries at 48, Canada and Denmark. So 10 country pavilions will be there. There will be 8 thematic zones with areas ranging from 350 square meters to 1951 square meters. They'll cover petrochem, India net zero, hydrogen, oil, renewable energy, biofuels, make in India, CGD, LNG ecosystem. The SIAM is setting up a sustainable mobility pavilion under the theme people-centric mobility ecosystem. They are going to showcase 15 models of cutting-edge technology for 2W, 3W, 4W vehicle categories demonstrated by 10 equipment manufacturers. And some of the innovative exhibits, I'll request the secretary to list them and also give his comments, and then we'll open up for questions.
Which basically is a flex fuel conversion kit. There was a lot of interest in terms of understanding when higher blends of ethanol come in petrol, what do I do with existing vehicles? Can I retrofit them? So this is something which may be of interest, that how do you do a flex fuel conversion kit? Particularly for older, even older version of 2-wheelers, can you put something so that should be something we look at. BPCL will be showcasing an ATM for LPG, which means that instead of a 14.5 kg cylinder, how can you go to an ATM and get LPG for almost like a sachet for LPG? How can you get that? They have a working model of tidal waves. There is from OIL, there is a digital monitoring of real-time billing operations. EIL is talking about how they are going to be using geothermal energy at Leh Airport. So we've just been doing geothermal exploration in Ladakh, and they talk about this. CSIR will be displaying India's first e-tractor, which they have developed. In fact, it has traveled over the weekend, especially travel for this. So these are some of the things which we definitely invite you to have a look at, apart from a hydrogen bus, which will be taking. That is something which is again a highlight, which we should be seeing moving around the campus. In addition, the abstract of the papers, for those of you who are technically minded, there were 2,700 technical papers being presented. The upstream startup challenge this time has been particularly unique because this was open to startups from across the world. And our winners are, there will be obviously from startups from who are competing on a world platform. And that's a new thing.
Alright, we are in the month of February and lots of exciting things are happening in the world. I mean, some of you are more familiar with the daily doses of excitement which we hear from all different parts of the world. Therefore, I think IEW 25, apart from showcasing what can be done in the ENP sector, what can be done in the technology sector, is also a great platform with immense potential to network between companies, between representatives of governments, and you will have all shades of opinion of policymakers who have a very important role to play. I mean, I'm not saying we've got the people who are to actually take the decision, but people close to them. We have a very strong US IBC delegation. We have, we'll have a session with them, with their CEOs. We have people from the UK, the energy secretary there. We have from Norway. We have from the Middle East, Qatar. We have other places, and we have the Russian delegation here also. I met the Russian minister a few days ago. And so it's a place where a lot of what's happening in the world can also be discussed. And I think that's what makes it special. But more than that, I wanted to tell you that I am particularly keen that this message reaches out wide. It goes to our students. We have a lot of emphasis on students from the technical institutes, IITs coming. It reaches the younger minds. I remember when I was a few years old, taking place, and therefore I think it's very important that, and this exhibition is open, free to everybody. The technical sessions cannot, because you cannot have more than 500 or 1,000 people in a room, because if you do that, then it'll become beyond control. So the technical sessions are, some of them are under by invitation, but please spread the message. There's a beautiful metro system. When I travel from here to Yashobhumi, I take the metro. It's about 17-18 minutes from Shivaji Stadium to Yashobhumi. So thank you very much. I think in terms of providing you a teaser, if I can call it that, it was a long teaser, but we'll be happy to answer any questions. We have a little time before I start my next session, so please feel free to ask questions. Rajiv will moderate it. Identify yourself, and then we'll try to answer it.